make jewelry.
Yeah, I made this piece.
Oh yeah.
It's for the
Don't tell me
shop.
that now.
Yeah, he's bad about it.
Oh yeah.
I got an idea.
Accessories can make like a whole outfit.
Yeah.
Access, definitely. This is my first wire wrap.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You look at that, now you gonna touch it. You just gonna put all your
all my energy on her crystal like that.
But she tried to get me in the crystal.
I'd be like, I just cleansed these bad boys.
Yeah, there's a super blood red moon. I'm sorry, a wolf super blood red moon.
Really?
Tonight, I think.
Tonight?
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? This is Perez, your entrepreneurial hippie. And I am here with LaTangela. She was on the Taina show back in the day, man. Like, when I tell you, I grew up watching. So
Wow.
Well,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem.
Sharing mindsets.
Yeah, no problems. Definitely humbled by you coming down and doing the interview and the photos and everything for us. So it's dope. Yeah, I appreciate you coming.
Thank you. So, like, what have you been up to for real since the show ended?
Man, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I wrote a children's book that I toured. I have an anti-cyberbullying movement that I'm actually working on right now. So I wrote a children's book, I published that, and I toured like over 40 schools. I did a lot of press. Yeah, I did that, and I've also been doing some independent stuff, you know, so I'm still acting, still singing. So I'm still doing a lot of independent projects on that side, and then I developed my product Grease Bag. So that's kind of one of my big things on my plate right now, and you guys might have saw that on Shark Tank. When I presented that on Shark Tank. So yeah, it's just, that's consuming a lot of me right now. There's a lot going on. Me and my boyfriend are doing a YouTube channel right now called LTNDC. So you guys look out for that. But yeah, just a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So definitely trying to, you know, make big moves this year so I can get back on the scene again, for real, for real. A lot of people want to see me back on TV.
I want to see you back on TV.
Thank you. Spread the word, spread the word. Put all the vibes out there.
So just like a natural entrepreneur, for real.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I was made to work for anybody. So it's
say it one more time.
Right, I was not made to work for anybody, but I appreciate people that do. I mean, because you need employees.
Absolutely.
You know, and some people just definitely, you know, are not entrepreneurs. And so I can appreciate and respect that too. But I can't deal with the schedule or anything. I'm a free spirit. I'm flexible. I like to be flexible. So yeah.
That's lit.
Yeah.
What do you think was your biggest challenge that you overcame in your business?
Man, just not knowing anything. I mean, I definitely had to teach myself everything. I mean, I don't even have a business degree. So, you know, I utilized YouTube and Google and
YouTube
everything.
University.
Definitely, all day. PhD. PhD in YouTube and Google. And I mean, when you develop a passion for something, I cook a lot. I had a problem disposing my grease. Yeah, I get in But yeah, no, I cook a lot and I don't like dealing with grease. This is always grease, you know what to do with it. You're going to clog up your pipes if you happen to pour down the drain.
Absolutely.
So I was like, no, it's got to be a solution for this. So I just had a passion for the problem. I was like, I'm tired of collecting this grease in my kitchen. There's got to be a solution. So I just put my head in the game and just figured it out. And so that's really, passion will take you a long way. So, you know.
Again, say that for the people in the back.
Passion will take you a long way. So you don't have to have a degree in everything. I had too many ideas to have went to school for all of that. Yeah. So, you know, you just have to dedicate yourself to it. So, you know, and people ask me, how did you get a prototype? How did you get, you know, you just, I had to dream it, and then, you know, I had to go find those people that existed. Like, okay, I need this, I need that. There's somebody that exists that makes that. Let me find them. So,
absolutely. That's good.
Thank you.
That's really good. How have you built up your own personal strength and like your love for yourself? Because we mentioned downstairs, you know, I had that Taina soundtrack. And like one of my favorite songs that you sang on there out of the 3 features that you did, which were like, especially now, like one of my favorite songs.
Thank you.
But that one song you did, I'm in love with me.
Everybody loves I'm in love with me. Yeah, everybody loves I'm in love with me. I have good voice too. But yeah, no, they love that song. I didn't write it. I can't take credit for it, but it is like one of the songs that I still listen to every now and again. It's a dope pick me up, you know. But my mom was really good at making you love yourself almost, if that makes sense.
That's
but she would just always kind of make you feel crazy about, like, if you'd be like, oh, she's so pretty, or she's so this, and if you sounded as if you were like envying that person at all, or you felt beneath, like she thought that you sounded like you were beneath that person, or thought you were beneath that person, she'd be like, what, you just as pretty? You can be a star too? What? You can do that too? I mean, what?
Yes.
You think you can't do it?
Yes.
She'd make you feel stupid about, like, well, yeah, you're right, I can.
You're right.
I'm just giving her a compliment now. It's like I'm just complimenting people. I'm not like envying people. So I don't know. She just made me kind of. My mom was just big on that. She was big on this owning who you are and believing in yourself and not thinking that anybody's better than you. But she was also big on like not being conceited. Also, not thinking you're better than other people either, which is ugly. So
that's very
a good
true.
balance. Yeah.
Man. That's good, especially since it's coming from family. Like, because I feel like a lot of people struggle with having acceptance from their family.
That's it. Yeah.
So being built on a good structure like that is amazing.
Yeah,
it definitely shows in what you do.
Thank you. Definitely, like it's important. So to all the parents, make sure you tell your kids that they're dope. Just tell them that they're dope.
Have to. Yeah. What can we expect to see from you coming up, like for this year?
Yeah, definitely more things with the company. The company has a grease bags. When I speak of the company, I'm talking about grease bags. But yeah,
it's a contract.
Yeah, right. The company, the organization I got going on. That's a lot. That's a lot of work, and it's big business too, because it's also an industrial. It can be used for industrial uses as well as personal home uses, and so that I'm getting a lot of inquiries about different ways to sell the product. I also have an open invitation to QVC, and they want a huge order this year, so I'm trying to get myself together for that. Yeah, definitely looking for like new investors for the company as well. Still acting, still singing, and definitely me and DC are working on our brand. So we got a lot coming this year.
That's lit. I'm excited to see it.
Thank you.
So I'm a big reader, and I love when I interview people to see if they have any book recommendations that they would give to people, especially maybe pertaining with business, maybe like self-care type stuff, just like some of your favorite books.
Let me see. Now and you caught me off guard with that one. Let me think. Actually, I got one that's dope. The Mentor, the CEO, and the Kid. That one is a dope book. And it's weird because I was at the Dallas Marathon, and I was actually talking to this guy about weight gain, and he was, he's a runner, he's an older guy, and I was like, man, he was like, you should run. And I was like, I want to run, but I don't want to lose weight because I'm trying to gain weight right now. So he was like, no, it'll definitely clear your mind, and it'll build up your muscle mass. And he just gave me this whole spiel about it, and he's like, you know what? I want to give you one of my books. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
And he was the guy that wrote it. Wow. And I had never heard of the book before, but it took me a while. It took me about 5 months. I sat on my coffee table, and I was like bored one day, and I picked it up, and when I read it cover to cover, like 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just like I had nothing to do that day. So I just read this whole book, and I was just like, man, that was a dope book. And at the end of the book, it was a true story, and it was basically how he had gone to jail and came out, and basically just sort of had a mentor that basically transformed his life and his way of thinking. And there's a lot of great lessons in that book, but at the end of the book, one of the things that he was basically that was part of his crusade was to give that book out randomly to people.
Nice.
So when I read that, I was like, I was one of those random people.
Yeah.
So it was so dope. And then my friend's husband saw the book. He's like, you have this book? I love this book. I read it so many times. And I was like, yeah, the author. He was like, you met the guy that wrote it? I had no idea it was such a big deal. So yeah, that's definitely get that book.
I was just talking to my friend last night. She's actually writing her own book too.
Oh, okay.
She was saying how it was in layman's. I love books that just literally say things as they should be said.
That's
it doesn't have to be all fancy and stuff like that, because then what type of crowd are you really appealing to? Do you have any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, like people who are in the game, people who want to start the game,
It would just be to be consistent, because a lot of times you'll look at somebody that's made it and you're like, oh, they're not that talented. If he could do it, I could do it. But the difference between you and that person is the work ethic and the fact that person never gave up or never would give up. It's just they don't get tired, like Kevin said. They get tired. So it's like, you definitely have to just stick with it, because people that are more talented and smarter than you are gonna fall off, and then you're gonna still be standing there. And then the pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and so when it's time to choose from that pool, it's gotten that small.
Right.
You know, and the higher you get, you know, the harder or the bigger the thing is, the smaller the pool gets. Like, and so it's definitely gonna be your time. I mean, it was 40,000 people that went out for Shark Tank, and so I didn't have anything sold. When I went on the show, my prototype was still warm. I got it the day before my audition. I didn't have a clue. Everybody's like, you think you can go in and do that? You sure you can do that?
What?
And I just had to just believe in myself. I was number 453 in line. It was freezing cold. It was windy outside. And I stood in that line. And I was like, y'all ain't got what I got. I'm sorry. Y'all ain't got what I got in my bag. I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on. And I stood out there all day. And then it was like to the point where it was like in 2 parts. Like it was an all day and night process. And then it was 8 months later after that. Like, yeah, you're to the next round, but there's no guarantee. Yay, congratulations, you made it to the next round, but hey, we need 10,000 pieces of paperwork from you now. We need you to shoot like 1 million videos and then fly you to LA, and then you know what? There's still no guarantee. So you gotta prove yourself in front of the executive producers, and then you might get in front of the Sharks. So I had to believe the entire way. I had to believe. So just believe and don't listen to people. Do not listen to people. Yeah. Yeah. And same thing with Taina. I auditioned for Nickelodeon 1 million times before they told me yes. Yeah.
Wow.
It's years, like years. I literally, like 3 or 4 years, I know I had gone into that office 1 million times. And then when it was my time, I barely had to audition for that part. I barely read. They were kind of like, you know, you got this part, just read it. Really, so.
Did you resonate with that character really well?
I did. I think they just saw her in me. I was actually a lead on a show called Rep prior to that, and I was in a repertory company that's still around today in in New York called City Kids, and it's just a bunch of kids from like the neighborhood who are talented and put on shows. And so we got together every weekend, and we rehearsed, and a lot of famous people come out of City Kids. So if you look it up, you'll see it. But they actually based the show around that repertory company. And so I was in it already, and they were like, okay, we'll give you the lead. So I was the star of that show, and that show never saw the light of day. And then they just moved me from Rep to Taina. So they were kind of working with me already on this other show, but it was that one we didn't even do a table read for. So, you know, yeah, just everything happens in its time.
So did they tell you, one of my favorite things you would do when you would come onto the screen would be like, Taina?
People try to make me do that in the grocery store and stuff. Like, everybody hasn't seen the show, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm looking around like, what is wrong with her? Yeah, but that was definitely something they told me to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just, like they told you to do it like that and everything.
Yeah, they were like, we need you to do this high pitch like Taina, because actually Maritza is based off of a real person. So she was the creator of the show. She was actually tormented by a girl, for real, for real. And she was like, I wrote her in the show because I thought everybody was gonna hate her, but they fucking love you. I don't know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so
I think it was because like I feel like you weren't really mean to her. You know, like y'all would give it back to each other.
And we would, and especially second season. You could see her creeping. Maritza was always like a creepy, like on the outs, like if you don't like them, why are you always there type stuff. So she was always low key trying to be a part of the crew, because she didn't have no friends.
Yeah, you could peep that for real in the second season.
And so definitely in the second season it was like they were finding their common ground, sort of like Pam and Martin and Gina, like where they just, you know, they like each other, like stop. But they just, so it's one of those things.
But yeah, yo, again, I appreciate you for taking the time.
Yo, I appreciate you for coming down and doing the interview and everything.
Real stuff, man. Like real recognizes real, you feel me? And I think that's kind of what happened, like with the messages, like when we were talking. It was just like, okay, and like you said, like especially once we got on the phone and you were like, yeah, it was something about you, like I could tell, you know.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Appreciate that. So until next time, y'all, we out here.
Yeah, next time we're gonna warm up. Let's do a theme song or something.
Right.